Greetings, people of the internet. I have returned. My God, this is big. Give me a second. Perfect. Today is a very special. Today's video is very special because tomorrow, or at least when you'll be seeing this, it's gonna be my birthday. I'm gonna be 18, and I just wanted to kind of share my favorite games that I have kind of played over the past 12 years. I've been playing video games ever since I was 12. As you can see, I'm in front of my computer with the Sonic poster in the back. Yeah. And this is yet another ranking video, but not just any normal video. It is a top 10 list. I'm going to be doing these videos every once in a while where I'll just be listing off my top 10 favorite something. Like my top 10 favorite metal albums of all time, or my top 10 favorite video games of all time. Which, top 10 favorite games, is what I'll be doing today. So yeah, let's get into it. So when I was younger, one of the main games that I kind of played, or a series for that matter, is Silent Hill. And at my number 10 spot, I got Silent Hill 2. A lot better than Silent Hill 1. A lot better than Silent Hill 1. And kind of the main reason why I put Silent Hill 2 down, or is kind of a little bit lower on the list, is because Silent Hill 2, unfortunately, is very difficult to get into nowadays. If you own a PS2 and if you own Silent Hill 2, play it there. It deserves to be on the PlayStation 2. If you play the PC version of the game, then I mean, it's fine. Silent Hill 2 isn't the worst game out there. It is definitely one of the better games that I have definitely played. And kind of in my honorable mentions, basically just like any Silent Hill game imaginable. Mainly Silent Hill Origins and Silent Hill Homecoming are kind of down there in the honorable mentions. Which kind of brings me to my number 9 spot. Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Shattered Memories, in my opinion, is a little bit better than Silent Hill 2, just because, you know, it's whatever. I liked Shattered Memories. Shattered Memories was a very pleasant and enjoyable experience that personally I really, really enjoyed. I've actually beat the game quite a few times. I've beaten the game like 3 different times so far, and the first time I ever played this game was like last year. So like late 2023 was around the time I officially got into Resident Evil, Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Yeah, I just got home from school. Actually, that was a lie. I got home from school like an hour and a half ago. Anyway, so one of the main things about the Silent Hill series is that I just love horror games. Which brings me on to my next list, Resident Evil 7. Now, Resident Evil 7 gets this number 7 spot. What do you know? In my opinion, Resident Evil 7 is one of the better Resident Evil games. I played Resident Evil 4, stopped like right then and there, because it was just a very confusing experience, like afterwards and everything. Because I played Resident Evil 4, I loved it, and then Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. So Resident Evil 5, I kind of see it as the better game of the two, but Resident Evil 6, no. I do not like Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 6 is kind of on my top 10 worst games, or my least favorite games that I've played. Because unfortunately, or fortunately, there aren't very many games that I despise. Okay? To be honest, I have never really played like a bad video game. And, Resident Evil 7 was kind of one of the more enjoyable ones. Which kind of brings me to my number 6 spot, Doom 3. Now, Doom 3, so I played the original Doom first, just to kind of throw it out there. I enjoyed Doom 3 for what it was worth. It was definitely a kind of strange experience at first because I was kind of mainly a Doom 1 and Doom 2 type person. And Doom 3 is like on a league of its own. It's a lot different than the original Doom games, which was kind of strange for a very long time. I hadn't played Doom 3 all the way. I hadn't played Doom 3 yet until 2018, I believe, was when I played Doom 3 for the first time, and it's an okay game. I don't despise Doom 3. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's a bad game. I just think it's okay. Which kind of brings me to my next game, Doom 2. I think Doom 2 is kind of in my top 5. I believe, and I really enjoyed Doom 2 for what it was worth, as it was a better game than Doom 1. I like Doom 1. I think Doom 1 was okay. Daryl! Never mind. I think that Doom 2 was definitely an enjoyable experience. I didn't hate it. It also, like I said, very difficult to get into if you're kind of like a newer generation player. I probably got into Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, but I highly recommend, for my viewers out there, play Doom 2. It's a good game. I love it. I enjoy it, and I think it's a really good time. Which kind of brings me to my top 4, to number 4. Skyrim. Now, the main guidelines of this list is that the game has to be flawless. Alright, and Skyrim is one of the many games that I don't really see very many flaws in. If you think that the game is flawed because it has exploits makes the game more fun. And playing the game on PC nowadays and having console commands and just the overall mess of cheats and exploits make the game so much fun, and it is definitely a game that is pretty easy to get into nowadays, because a lot of people probably have played Skyrim, maybe Oblivion, but there's a decent chance that a modern Elder Scrolls player hasn't played stuff like Daggerfall, Arena, or Redguard, or Battlespire. Basically just like the earlier Elder Scrolls games, like Elder Scrolls Shadowkey. If you have it in a Nokia N-Gage, play Shadowkey. Shadowkey is a very good and fun game that I do recommend y'all play. And number 3 is Doom. Just normal ass Doom. 1993, kind of the main point of my it's my favorite FPS game. All right, I can tell you that. But it is definitely in my top 3 list just because Doom kind of got me into FPS games. All right, if I haven't played Doom, I would have probably never been introduced to games like Call of Duty or Wolfenstein or a bunch of other FPS games. I can't really think of any other FPS games at the moment. But Sorry, that was my brother. Doom is just the first FPS game that I ever played. I loved it, and that kind of also got me into the other games. I played Doom 2, got into Doom 3 just a little bit later. I actually played Doom 2016 before I played Doom 3. Doesn't make any sense, but that's just the way it is. And Doom 3 and Doom 1993 is just a game that I love so much, and it was the first game that I ever did a retrospective video on, which, don't worry, retrospective is coming back in some way, shape, or form. I don't know when. I've still yet to decide the next game I'm going to be doing a retrospective video on, but do not worry, retrospective is going to be coming back. Which kind of leads me into my number 2 game, Grand Theft Auto Vice City. So, Grand Theft Auto Vice City was the first video game that I ever played. Kind of cut in with the guidelines is that my top 10 games are kind of the games that I had spent the most time in, or time with back in the day. And Grand Theft Auto Vice City is my favorite Grand Theft Auto game of all time, not only due to its soundtrack, it's also just a badass game. Like, of all the Grand Theft Auto games, Grand Theft Auto Vice City and San Andreas are both kind of in my top 20. And the only reason why Vice City is higher is because it was literally the first game I had ever played. I recently beat the game, which is, a good thing for, what it's worth. And I enjoyed kind of what it's worth. I love Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It was one of my all-time favorite games, and it is not exactly a flawless game. There are some issues with it, like the PlayStation 2. Unfortunately, its controls are not the greatest. And playing on an emulator nowadays, it is an experience, I can tell you that. But, yeah, so Grand Theft Auto Vice City, nearly perfect. But my number 1 is also a game from PlayStation 2, released just a year before I was born. Resident Evil 5. No. Resident Evil 4. Oh my god. Resident Evil 5? No. That came out when I was 3. But Resident Evil 4, right? Leon S. Kennedy, main character, main focus of the game. I was actually very sad when Resident Evil 8 didn't have Leon. You know why? Because Leon is featured in every mainline even game. Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 8, I was expecting Leon, didn't get Leon. Still had Ethan, which, I mean, Resident Evil 8 isn't a terrible game, but Resident Evil 4, how much that game freaking terrified me as a child. You see, Resident Evil 4 is one of those types of games where it's not scary, right? The overall game itself, I can play late at night. I can't really, I can play that basically at any time of the day. But the atmosphere of the game, like, if you play this game, right? If you play this game, lights turned off, nobody surrounds you, and you just hear the sound effects of the enemies. Because there's the Chainsaw Man, there's the Regenerator, there's also the Chainsaw Ladies that you beat, like, a little bit into Chapter 1, Part 3, I guess. I don't really understand that whole shtick, but yeah, I just think that Resident Evil 4 is a very good game. For what it's worth, I think Resident Evil 4 is probably the most flawless game out here. And one of the mini games that I also had on my honorable mentions was games like Black Flag, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Resident Evil 4 Remake was also kind of up there, and even modern games Like Resident Evil 3 and 4, those remakes, and even Resident Evil 2 are all up there in my top 10 list, which I'm probably not going to do a video of like my top modern games because I don't really play modern games. I'm more of a retro gamer, and I play games from my time period. Unfortunately, I don't really see that big of a deal when it comes to modern day games, and that's why all these games are from like 2011 and beforehand. Yeah, I don't think I really ever had any games in my actual top 10 that was from after 2011. Oh yeah, Resident Evil 6 was kind of I mentioned, but yeah. So yeah, there's my top 10 games. My God, 16 minutes. This was a long video, a lot longer than I expected. But once I start talking about games, I can't stop. Anyway, I'm glad to be back. I've just been kind of wrapped up in a ton of stuff, and unfortunately, I've only released like 4 videos this year. I plan on making like a lot more, and because tomorrow's my birthday, I'm probably going to be doing like a special video. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I hope you all enjoy my nice video. Hope you all are having a great January. See you guys in the next video. Please like and subscribe. Comment down below your top 10 or kind of your top 5 favorite video games. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Bye.